This is another bike I've had the pleasure of seeing in person. This is a 48 Panhead, and my buddy Dave Minerva has this machine. And here's a picture of the bike today, and here's a picture of the bike in 1950. Now, I've seen the bike. It has a brass speedball. It's chromed everywhere, and without having been present, as far as I can tell, the bike was built that way, custom order from Harley. I told Dave that when he got it. He's all, really? I said, yeah, man, they made custom stuff just like that. He's been digging into it, and this is in the latest AMCA magazine, September-October issue 2014, and this is the article that they put in here, what he's been able to find so far. So Dave says, Dave Minerva thought he was buying a really cool 1948 Harley off Craigslist 2 years ago, but it's possible he ended up with even more than he bargained for. The bike Minerva found on the online sales site was a 1948 Harley EL, the first year of the Panhead engine. That's a pretty desirable antique machine, but what made this particular Panhead special was its finish. Instead of paint, the tanks and fenders were covered in chrome. I could tell from the photos it was something really different, Dave says. I knew I wanted it, so I made a deal on the phone. Of course, by the time I got there to pick it up, some other AMC members had called and the price had gone up a bit. Well, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm one of those guys that called. But you got it. I'm glad you got it. I wasn't going to walk away. So Dave went home with what he thought was an interesting artifact from an early Harley customizer. And I called Dave after he got it. I said, you got that, didn't you? He goes, yeah. I says, it might be real. He says, oh, no, it's a custom. I said, no, I'll bet you that's a real bike, man. So Dave went home with what he thought was an interesting artifact from an early Harley customizer. I figured it had been chromed years after it was new. He says, the guy installed tank badges and fender tips on the parts where they finish that looks like brass as an accent to the chrome. I thought it looked great. The bike must have been striking back when the chrome was new, but if anything, years have given it even more character. While original paint bikes developed an interesting patina over time, this machine might be said to have a certain chrome tina, with the weathered plating looking like an artistic representation of the faded technological promise. Plus, it really turns out an AMCA meet. When some of the club's Harley experts stopped by to see Dave's bike, though, they got a hint that there might be more to this Panhead. A couple guys asked me, is that a real one? Dave says. I said, a real what? Turns out that there have been rumors for years of Harley having built the occasional chrome-plated machine for a special customer as a reward for a particular loyal Harley dealer. Pictures exist. The rumors suggest that one or more of these bikes have been delivered to their deserving owners. Could Dave's bike be living proof of those rumors? He wanted to know, so he dug back in the bike's history and found the man who had owned it before the guy sold it to him. We found some tantalizing hints. I tracked this guy down, he says, and he's 89 years old. I loaded the bike into the truck and took it to his house. He was happy to see it again, and I asked him if he'd like to hear it run. He said yes, so I fired it up, and he had the biggest smile on his face, and he pulled out his photo album. Dave said the man wasn't Harley's original owner, but he did buy it in 1950 when it was still very new, and his photos from that time clearly show the bike with its chrome finish even then. There was one particularly nice photo showing the gleaming Harley parked with three stylishly dressed women sitting on its side saddle. He told me the way I saw the bike in that photo is the way he bought it, Dave says, with all the accessories on it and everything. I don't think he did a thing to it. What's more intriguing, though, is the previous owner Dave tracked down told him the bike's original purchaser had assured him it came from the factory with its chrome finish. All the other parts were non-Harley accessories have been added, Dave notes, but he said he was sure the bike was chrome when he bought it brand new. I've heard over the years, he adds, that Harley built a bike whatever you wanted as long as you were willing to pay for it. When you look at all the parts that went onto this bike logically, you have to figure out that the original owner had some money. On the other hand, this is 1948, when demand was sky high after the war. So the factory was cranking out so many bikes as they could and wouldn't need to do something special like this. So is the claim true? Is this evidence of the mythical factory chromed Harley? Dave doesn't have the answer yet, but he's still looking for more. Here's some other up-close pictures of the machine. And there's Dave himself. So you get to one of the AMCA meets. Dave's been bringing it up quite regularly. Hopefully you get to see it. And in my opinion, this is a real bike. It was done at the time. I'd have to see documentation that proves otherwise. I've seen too much custom order. I have too much custom order. See you guys on the next video.